Welcome back, one and all, to the AOR Pro Mazda series. Today we'll be kicking off Season 4 with a race at Road Atlanta. My name is Justin, and joining me for the first time today, it's Jake.
Thank you, Justin. It's a privilege to be in the commentary box with such a talented commentator as yourself. It's the third time out we've been at Road Atlanta, with past winners being Riku Alatalo of Nuclear Racing and Justin Brunner, your two-time AOR champion. Now, a few moves and shakers in the grid. René Osterkamp's decided to move away from Willow's GP, and we're missing the likes of Joni Takkanen, who's gone to go and do endurance racing, and we've also losing Harley Lewis of Carbon Racing.
Yep, it's the start of a brand new season, and all of the drivers will be looking forward to a clean slate, except for the Season 3 champion, Justin Brunner, who became the first back-to-back champion after Jamie Fluke was absent from the final couple of races last season. Phil Reed ended up finishing Season 3 in second place after grabbing a podium in the final race at New Hampshire, while his teammate and Season 1 champion, Kerry Knowlden, finished his season in third position, tied on points with Jamie Fluke, but with more wins, meaning he takes that third position spot. Enough about last season, though. Let's kick off Season 4 from Road Atlanta, starting with the qualifying report.
Hello guys, Fizzy here to take you through the first qualifying comparison of Season 4 here at Road Atlanta, this time on board with last season's championship contender Jamie Fluke on the left, and also the Finn, Jonas Puhakka on the right, flying into turn 1 already. Just a tiny dab on the brakes and a downshift that to go through there, and then up the hill straight into one of the most tricky corners on the tracks, turn 3, over the huge curb on the inside, taking as much of it as possible without unsettling the car, and flat out all the way down the hill through the S's, all about finding the smoothest racing line down into turn 5, braking on the curb as straight as possible before flicking it left. And at this point in the lap you can see Jamie Fluke is slightly ahead of Jonas Puhakka, and interesting that he can use a lot of the runoff area there without getting an off-track incident point, but it does come at a risk of unsettling the car. And now going through turn 6 and then it's straight into turn 7 down to second gear, one of the slowest corners on the circuit, and also one of the most important ones as he leads onto this humongous back straight, which will well and truly be the main overtaking place throughout this race. As you can see with the reference to the Master Bridge, that Jamie Fluke has extended his advantage ever so slightly over Puhakka here. And now it's just all about waiting, keeping the throttle planted, going up to 6th gear, as we did see both in Season 1 and Season 3 when we visited this track down as well. And now spotting the braking point down to 3rd gear for the hairpin of 10A and 10B, compromising a little bit of the energy to get a good exit up the hill here and under the Suzuki Bridge, before going back down the hill towards the start-finish straight, flat out through the final corner in 5th gear. And that is the end of a lap which Jamie Fluke did with a time of 1:18.277 to take pole position here for the first race of the season.
So it's Jamie Fluke that takes pole position for the first race of Season 4 here at Road Atlanta, ahead of the back-to-back champion Justin Brunner, who starts from the front row, no surprise there. Newcomer Richard Clark starts in 3rd, just ahead of AOR Blue driver Phil Reed, while his teammate Kerry Knowlden could only manage 6th, while Hugo Prado splits the AOR Blue cars in 5th position. René Osterkamp starts from 7th, he's followed by Patrick White of Carbon Racing, Christian Cash will be starting from 9th position, and Jean-Francois Godin will round out the top 10. Jonas Puhakka will start from 11th position, and I'm sure will be looking to gain positions in the race. Gunnar Niehenwis will be starting from 12th position, another new driver. Behind him will be Leanne Robinson and then Christoph Leister. Robert Plumley of Conducci Racing starts from 15th position, followed by the Bendow brothers, first Stefan, then Marco. Martinsen will start from 18th position, followed by Frederick Johansson and Ty McLeod. Steve Kagerer starts from 21st position. He's followed by another newcomer, Chris Fowler, in 22nd. Evan Imre will start from 23rd position with a 1:19.636. He's followed by Alexander Van Rompuy, Tom Van Humen, Vittorio Saltalamacchia, and Dak O'Neill. Bringing up the rear will be Bruno Dometer, Mark Hoppen, and Chris Robinson for a full grid of 30 drivers. Enough about qualifying, though. Let's head to the race. Welcome to the grid from Road Atlanta, where Season 3 championship contender Jamie Fluke is sat on pole position, kicking off his 3rd season with the league in the best possible way. Sat right behind him, though, is one of the strongest and most consistent racers we've ever seen, Justin Brunner, who rarely finishes off the podium. Jean-Francois Godin, starting from just inside the top 10 as the only driver for team players. René Osterkamp sat in 7th for the new VRSF team, another one-man team as it stands right now. And newcomer Richard Clark qualified just outside the front row in 3rd position, starting his league experience in a great position right behind the back-to-back champion of Justin Brunner. And there is Jamie Fluke, the one-time contender whose absences at the end of Season 3, unfortunately, kind of handed the championship over to the man who sat right behind him as we're waiting for the lights to come on now. We're going to kick off Season 4 in epic fashion here at Road Atlanta. The lights are red. We're waiting for them to turn green. Engines revving, and they're away. It looks like a much better start for Justin Brunner, and he's already passed Jamie Fluke long before we head into turn number 1. We've got a couple of cars right behind him as well. Might be going 3 wide heading into turn number 1, and it looks like, I think that's Phil Reed actually up into 3rd position now, getting past Richard Clark already, and Justin Brunner taking the early lead of this race. Jamie Fluke not too far behind, but Richard Clark dropping down into 4th position. So we've already got a couple of changes of position, and it's only been a few quarters as we head through the S's now into turn number 5, where we're likely to see lots of off-track moments, impossible spins, impossible contact with the barrier. It wasn't so long ago that we raced here in Season 3, just 4 races ago, and here we are heading down towards turn number 6. Jamie Fluke tucked nicely into the slipstream of Justin Brunner, and he might have an opportunity to overtake here on the straight.
Yes, a brilliant start there from Justin Brunner. Jamie Fluke's just gone absolute horror start, but he's tucked right in under that gearbox. It looks like Brunner's going to defend the inside line. He'll have to go to the outside of the very long back straight as they head towards 10A, a left-right chicane. Fluke there going around the outside. Phil Reed might have a look here as we go to the... As they head for the corner. Has he got it? He's got the inside. Can he block the corner? Yes, he can. Jamie Fluke will take the lead of the race here, but Brunner's going to go for the cutback, and don't forget Phil Reed in this situation. We've got about 4, 5, 6 cars here that are breaking away. What a start to lap 1 here, Justin.
Yeah, Phil Reed getting involved as well. He's now the one that's in the slipstream of Justin Brunner. It looks like he might move up into 2nd place. No, Jamie Fluke goes around the outside, but he's run wide off the circuit into the grass. That's definitely going to lose him a number of positions. So Phil Reed now up into 2nd position. Richard Clark now back into the 3rd position that he started in. And here is Jamie Fluke trying to rejoin the circuit as safely as he can. It looks like he's going to have to tuck in behind the Willows Grand Prix car, I believe that was. And it's been a difficult start for Jamie Fluke, certainly after losing the lead right at the launch there, and then running wide at the beginning of lap number 2. That's certainly not what he wanted. We're having a look. Oh, we've got a car off, and that's one of the new drivers, actually. Nian Huis. I apologize if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Please feel free to correct me in the comments, as we are, that's something that we're typically doing. And Phil Reed now is making a move for the lead of this race now, heading down the back straight on Justin Brunner. Brunner once again defending the inside line. Last lap, he mounted that fight back on Jamie Fluke in a very similar fashion to what he did at the end of the race last season as well. It was a very exciting final lap here at Road Atlanta in season number 3. Phil Reed now, though, takes the lead of this race, and I guess technically the championship, since no other races have happened. Jean-Francois Godin making a move on Alexander Van Rompuy. Wow, Godin also with a pretty terrible start. He started in 10th position. We actually pointed him out in the pre-race area, and Godin now has dropped down quite a bit. He's making some moves back up towards the front, however. As we were having a quick look there at, nope, that wasn't Kerry Knowlden, that was Phil Reed. We're on board with Justin Brunner now as we're going down the hill into the S's before going back up the hill towards turn number 5, and he is tucked in very nicely behind Phil Reed. Oh, Phil Reed with a bit of a moment there at the exit of turn number 5. Justin Brunner possibly going to take the inside line heading into turn number 6. Is he going to be able to make the move stick? It's a double right-hand corner combination here. No, he opts to stay behind. Probably a good decision, since he's going to have a fantastic opportunity of taking that position back on this very, very long back straight. I imagine we're going to be seeing lots of overtaking on this straight here, Jake.
Yeah, we're going to see the prime overtaking place down into 10A, the left-right chicane. The drivers have to be a little bit careful of corner cutting, because those slowdown penalties do put you back 2 seconds, and it looks like we're going to go 3 wide here for the lead. Richard Clark on his debut here, trying to make the move stick, but it'll be Justin Brunner down the inside. It looks like he might just about hold it. Phil Reed there, and Kerry Knowlden's gone.
Kerry Knowlden!
Yeah, absolutely gone and mugged off Richard Clark there. He was battling for the lead just left ago. There's contact! There's contact!
Oh, and that's between Prado. Yep, Prado's into the wall. Yep, Prado's in the wall, and I think Clark is okay, though. He's continuing on. It looks like he might have some damage. It looked like he was a little bit off the racing line there as he went through turn number 1, but that is unfortunate. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that. But we've now got 2 AOR blue cars in the top 3. Go ahead and talk us through this replay here, Jake.
Well, it was an absolutely terrible start from Jamie Fluke, and Justin Brunner just got a fantastic launch off the line, and he almost got swamped by Phil Reed and Richard Clark, but he manages to just hold on here through the long turn 1 and into the next tight sections of 2, 3, 4 in the S's. As you can see, not really much action going on behind. Everyone's filing along quite nicely. Let's take a look at it from Jamie Fluke's perspective here. So, gets off the line, he just bogs down in the second phase of acceleration, and that just completely throws him off. And he's having to defend now 2 or 3 cars in order to make himself safe.
Yep, and some side-by-side battling going on in the background there. A number of cars going on in the background. Here we're going to see it from Richard Clark's point of view. Richard Clark is new to this league, but he is not new to AOR. So for those of you that are familiar with other forms of AOR racing, he is Ricky C., who used to race in the Xbox F1 League on the old F1 games. And here is that replay, actually, between Richard Clark and Hugo Prado. Prado definitely coming off worse for wear there, as we're going to see an onboard replay here. He was able to take the racing line through that 10A, 10B chicane, and that's what allowed him to go side by side with Richard through the final quarter. Yeah, he got a little bit too much on the inside curve there, and that threw him out a little bit wide into Richard Clark. So that is definitely Hugo Prado's fault. I believe that's going to be a racing incident, though. Certainly that was nothing intentional. He just took a little bit too much curve there. Justin Brunner once again defending the inside line, heading into the chicane as we're coming to the end of lap number 4 of this 44-lap race, and he makes it look pretty easy there as he swoops up. He gets a pretty decent exit. Oh man, and it looks like Kerry Knowlden trying to get involved once again from 3rd position, but not able to get alongside. Very difficult to go side by side through the final corner there. And here comes Phil Reed once again side by side. It looks like it's just about, no, it was almost 3 wide for a brief moment there as we start lap number 5, but Justin Brunner continues to lead this race, and we've got a number of cars. Look at this, the top 5 all separated by just a handful of car lengths or so. Very, very close. The top 6 even, I should say. My mistake there. And it looks like a pretty good start for Patrick White. He started in 8th position. I believe he is now up in
sorry to interrupt you there, Justin, but it looks like Kerry Knowlden's just got ahead of Phil Reed through turn 1.
Oh, that was Kerry Knowlden getting ahead of Phil Reed. Yeah, good spot there. Sorry, I missed that one. So yeah, Kerry Knowlden, the Season 1 champion, getting past his teammate ahead of Phil Reed now on lap number 5. Of course, Phil Reed has a perfect opportunity to try and take that position back, but Kerry Knowlden has the benefit of the slipstream off of Justin Brunner, so it's certainly not going to be easy. We're on board with Ricky C. and switching now to the leaders, as once again, Justin Brunner defending the inside line, which is interesting because, of course, with the chicane, you get the inside line for the left-hand part, but not for the right-hand part. But clearly, that is the preferred line for Justin Brunner.
Yes, I think he's looking either to hold it around the outside or to go for the switchback, but he can't go for the switchback because Phil Reed is all over that gearbox, and he'll have the inside line for the final corner here of turn 12, and this might be an AOR 1-2 lead at the moment. They'll be side by side into turn 1.
Yep, Kerry Knowlden now leading this race, so he's off to a great start. It wasn't the best qualifying for him. He started down in 6th position on the 3rd row of the grid, which is, for Kerry Knowlden's standards, a little bit on the low side, and it is an AOR 1-2, and actually Justin Brunner has been overtaken by Patrick White as well in the Carbon Racing car. Justin Brunner down into 4th position, and look at the gap now that's forming between the top 2 and 3rd position. That's incredible stuff. Patrick White up 5 positions according to this graphic. Yeah, started in 8th position, now up into the podium positions here on lap number 6. Justin Brunner running pretty closely behind him, and that gap actually has shrunken down a little bit. They were coming down the hill out of turn number 4, and it looked like that gap was just about to the point where the AOR blue cars possibly were going to have Patrick White out of slipstream range. But as we come onto this back straight, it is very obvious that Patrick White is going to be getting a nice slipstream off of Phil Reed there. Justin Brunner definitely getting a nice slipstream off of Patrick White as he's going to be looking to make some overtaking. So after a few laps of defending for Justin Brunner, and now we got the AOR blue cars going side by side into 10A. I can't tell which one's on the outside. I believe that's Phil Reed taking the position back from Kerry Knowlden, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, it is. Kerry Knowlden now down into 2nd position, taking very different lines through turn number 11 there as we come through the final corner to finish lap number 6 and start lap number 7. And Patrick White, again, still in that 3rd place position. So he's managed to hold off Brunner for now, but it would be very impressive to see if he could do that for the entire race.
Yes, I do agree with you. Patrick White, you cannot discount him. He was a contender all the way back in Season 1 when Rico Alatalo of Nuclear Racing...
And he's taken 2nd.
Yeah, he's got 2nd. Brilliant move there on Kerry Knowlden. Nothing he could have done. It was a fantastic move. As you can see, Phil Reed, though, is the one who has profited the most out of this situation because there's... Oh, that's Brunner. That's the 2-time champion who's just gone and spun it.
Oh, wow,
believe
Justin
it?
Brunner, yeah, down into 10th position now. I was just going to say the top 9 were very close together. Now Brunner, though, has dropped out of that, so the top 8 are running in very close proximity as he drops behind one of the Knut racing cars, which shows you just how far Justin Brunner fell behind the rest of these guys. Here we have a battle for 6th developing between Rene Osterkamp, Christoph Leister, and Christian Takash. Don't worry, Christian, I have not forgotten how to pronounce your last name. And here's the battle for 2nd position, as it looks like actually Phil Reed's starting to break away a little bit. Kerry Knowlden with the inside line on Patrick White heading into the chicane. It looks like he's got the job done, but Patrick White trying to switch back on him now. But it doesn't look like it was enough. It's a pretty short run down, coming up and over the hill into the final corner. Is he going to be able to get his nose alongside? No, he doesn't. And it looks like Kerry Knowlden, wow, look how close they are. You could barely fit a piece of paper between the two of them, and he's going to try and get the inside line. No, he doesn't, and Kerry Knowlden hangs on to that 2nd place position. So it's a great start for the AOR Blue Cars. They've got the 1-2. They got the carbon racing car of Patrick White just behind him, but the two-time back-to-back champion Justin Brunner way down outside the top 10 now. We're not sure what sort of damage he has, if any, as we're having a look now for the first time at the AOR red team, Martinsen.
Car turned around there.
Oh, yep, and there is a car turned around there. I'm not sure who that is. It looks like we're going to get a replay. No, this is a replay of lap number 1 between Chris Fowler and Van Human. Oh, wow.
Yeah, just clips it, and that's the end of both of their races.
Oh, yeah, wow, and yeah, they just got sent into the wall. We've got another incident.
The bend also got turned around there, Justin.
Oh, okay, thank you for that information. And also, Ty McLeod making contact with one of the Konduchi cars. I actually missed who that was.
I believe that's Saltalamakia.
Saltalamakia, yeah, Saltalamakia getting involved there, so not a great start for him. Here's a replay of something that happened on lap number 2. Oh, right, this is where we saw the car in the barrier on lap 2.
Yeah. Let's see Leon Robinson. This is lap 5, so going through turn 5, a lot of incidents seeming to be happening there. And he just doesn't catch it. Whoa! I believe he's up and over again. Wow.
Oh, that looks like a carnival ride.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting, and I hate to say I told you so, but I definitely called the.
Starting from the back of the grid as we come into turn 1. Let's see what happens. And into the inside. Oh, they just contact. 2 into 1 doesn't go, and that's the end of Van Rompuy.
Yep,
So
I think Dominator's able to continue here. Yep. Oh, yeah, a little bit of contact there. Yep, Dominator's going to continue on. He may have light damage, but this is what it looked like from Van Rompuy's point of view. That's definitely a racing incident. I don't think anyone is necessarally to blame for that one, but Van Rompuy is obviously going to be pretty upset about that one. And here is that spin with Justin Brunner. And, yep, I said that there was going to be a lot of issues at turn number 5. Yep,
yeah. Well, to keep out the wall. So let's get on board of this. Turn 5's just catching out everyone like it was last time we were here, Season 3. Oh, he just gets too much of it. He's done very well to keep it out of the barrier, actually, and to keep his car going.
Yep, and Dominator now in 15th place, running very close behind Johansson as they're coming down the back straight towards that 10A, 10B chicane, and it doesn't look like Johansson's going to defend the inside line, so Dominator's going to be able to get the inside line on him here. Braking, of course, very important. Oh, as Dominator disappears for a brief moment there and then reappears ahead of Johansson, so that's a bit of a stealth move there as he just kind of teleported up into 14th position, I believe that was. And here is Justin Brunner now in 9th position, and is that Godin behind him? Wow, Godin has climbed all the way back to that 10th place position that he started the race in. That's very impressive. I believe we saw that he was down in 19th position, and here he is now back in that 10th place that he started and running behind Justin Brunner. I'm not sure if he'll be able to overtake Brunner. Brunner's obviously a very quick driver, but certainly he could use Brunner to help drag him forward into some of the other positions. So if he could just follow Brunner, that could be a great opportunity for him to grab some additional positions here, as I believe we're on board with Jamie Fluke here with that very bright helmet color there. That's an interesting one. Coming down the back straight now as we're on lap number 10. I can't believe it. We're already almost a quarter of the way through this race, and so much has happened. And that is Puheka, actually, not too far ahead of him. Puheka not with a great start so far. He started just outside the top 10 in 11th position behind Godin. And there goes, who was that actually?
That's another Red Devolution card. That was Christian Takash.
That's Takash? Yeah, that was Takash.
Team orders. It seemed that Jamie Fluke is the faster driver of the two, so a fair move as we look at Christoph Leister and what happened to him on lap 8. So going in through turn 5, the notorious turn 5, and oh, he just gets it like everyone else, and in the wall he goes in the end of his race. This is what happened with Marco Bendow, actually. He just gets caught across the curb, and, well, straight into the wall. Not much you can do about that one. He manages to keep the car going somehow, albeit the wrong way.
Ooh, yeah, that's an interesting way of rejoining the track there. He did get going again, though. And he had another incident, though, on lap number 9 at turn number 5. And is he going to keep it out of the barrier? No, he is not. That is going to be some pretty heavy rear wing damage for Bendow there, unfortunately. And Stefan Bendow now running in very close proximity to, Bruno Odometer running in very close proximity to Stefan Bendow, currently in 12th position as we're coming down the back straight now. He's got the slipstream. He's pretty far back still, though. We're already coming to the end of the straight, and it doesn't look like Odometer's going to be able to do anything heading into the chicane, so he's going to have to hang back for right now, or is he? He's getting very close now. Odometer's going to defend the inside line, and is he going to be able to make the move stick? And no, he's not, and Odometer defends that position very well. I'm sorry, that is Bendow. I'm sorry, that's Stefan Bendow defending.
Yeah, Stefan Bendow. Marco, I've just been informed, is out of the race at the moment, and Odometer's just managed to get it through at the final corner. What a move! I don't think anyone was expecting that one to happen. As we go back towards René Osterkamp and the group battling around looking for the top 5. This is Jamie Fluke we're on board with as we come into turn 5. Seems all comfortable at the moment, running a little bit wider than René Osterkamp there, just carrying a bit more. Osterkamp going defensive. Now that's a really interesting decision from him. Now just to recap the cars who are out of the race at the moment. So we've lost Chris Fowler, we've lost Nigel Huys, Hugo Preto's gone, Leon Robinson, Alexander Van Rompuy, Vittorio Salamakia, Christoph Leister, and now Marco Bendow. Wow,
that is a pretty extensive list there, as Jamie Fluke and Osterkamp going side by side now down the back straight, and it looks like Osterkamp's going to have the inside line as well. Richard Clark and Eunice Puheka as well going side by side. We've got 2 side-by-side battles heading into the chicane at the end of this lap, and it looks like Puheka is going to come out on top in that one, and as well Jamie Fluke coming out ahead of René Osterkamp, moving himself up once again. After that early race spin, Jamie Fluke obviously has the pace. He took pole position here at Road Atlanta by over 1/10 of a second from the back-to-back champion Justin Brunner, so Jamie Fluke clearly has some pretty serious pace, and he's still in this. He's got a lot of work ahead of him, but he's still in this. Phil Reed still leading the race ahead of his teammate Kerry Knowlden. Patrick White still hanging on to the back of them, but you definitely got to say this is very much a 3-car race as it looks right now, with these top 3 breaking away from the rest of the field. Yeah, look at the gap to 4th position.
Yes, it's got to be more than 4 or 5 seconds here that these 3 have managed to pull away. You just got to feel, though, that these 2 AOR blue cars will have to do their absolute best to try and keep the carbon racing car of Patrick White out of the way as they come back down into this long straight towards turn 10A. Lap 13 of 44 here. It's just flown so fast, just so much action. As we come in and they're side by side here, the 2 AOR cars, and you could put that overtake on a piece of toast because that was like a knife through butter.
Yeah, that was very nice. Kerry Knowlden showing exactly why he is a champion in AOR Pro Mazda Series here. Patrick White as well, though, doing a great job of keeping up with these guys. I was just about to mention right before Knowlden's overtake on Phil Reed that they probably don't want to be battling too much because that's going to give a perfect opportunity to Patrick White. Oh man, that's a very sneaky place to try and get a move done there at turn number 3, and it has actually come with a penalty. He has dropped off quite a bit off of the 2 AOR blue cars. He maybe should have sat back and waited for a better location. Bruno Odometer now defending from Robert Plumley. We've got a car off
on the right-hand side
there. Yep, and I'm not sure who that is. Can't see the livery from here. It looks like that's Clark. Yeah, that's Richard Clark, and that is very unfortunate. So I'm not sure what position that's going to drop him down, but certainly he has lost a number of positions as a result of that mistake. I'm not sure if we'll get a replay of that one, but Richard Clark has, of course, promoted Jamie Fluke now back up into 5th position. So we were talking about the gap between 3rd and 4th. That gap might start shrinking as Jamie Fluke now attacking Jonas Puheka. He's going to have the inside line heading down towards turn 10A. He's still got quite a bit of the straight left, actually. He might get the move done before they even get to the corner. It looks like he has. Yep. He's actually just flown right by Puheka. We might be seeing a difference in downforce levels there, possibly, as Fluke just makes easy work of Puheka. Here we're going to see a replay of what happened with Richard Clark on lap number 14 here. I can't tell which car is him. Oh, he was on the outside of Jamie Fluke there. Yep, and he just gets knocked off the circuit. Oh, and he makes huge contact with the barrier. That's definitely going to be some rear left suspension damage as we go on board with Osterkamp and see it from his point of view.
Well, as you can see here, it's just 2 into 1 doesn't go. It's a complete replay of what happened with Bruno Dometer and Alexander Van Rompuy on lap 6.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a very slight tap, and he's off in the grass mowing the lawn. And whoa, he's done very well to keep that upright, to be perfectly fair to him. But I think that's
heavy damage.
Clark's race over.
Or at least severely hindered. I mean, I don't expect him to be finishing in the top 10. He's going to be coming in for repairs, I expect. The real question is whether or not he could do 30 laps on a full tank of fuel.
Car stopped in the middle of the track there, Justin.
That's Van Humen, and he is still stopped in the middle of the track. Oh my gosh, that is very dangerous there. Clearly, he has had some sort of technical issue, and both the AOR blue cars doing very well to avoid him.
Justin.
Yep. He is moving off the circuit now. I imagine that's, it's some sort of technical issues there. So that was certainly not intentional. So if anybody's thinking about slagging off on him for doing that, that was not intentional. It's just a technical issue. And we've got to move now heading into turn number 1. And that is how you go side by side through turn number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, a very nice job right there. Osterkamp defending from Takash at the moment. Takash did very well last season. He came in the middle of the season and showed just what he's got. He's a very quick driver, and he's not that far behind Rene Osterkamp and trying to get a move done. But of course, now he's got Justin Brunner right behind him, who did have that spin but did not make contact with the barrier. So we don't expect Justin Brunner has any sort of damage whatsoever to his car. So Takash in a very difficult position here. He's trying to get by Osterkamp and also trying to defend from the back-to-back seasons 2 and 3 champion of Justin Brunner. I do not envy Christian Takash right now.
No, let's look at the back of Rene Osterkamp here. He's got a lot of trouble with Brunner and Takash behind him, 2 very quick drivers, both who have had podiums to their name, and they're catching up at a rate of knots, and they might... Well, Brunner's got one, he might get both of them. This will be an absolutely sensational move as we see Hugo Prieto off in the gravel. Oh, he's got them both done. What a move. What a move from Justin Brunner. He's got 2 for the price of 1 here.
And Justin Brunner showing exactly why he is the back-to-back champion. That's incredible stuff. And yeah, Jean-Francois Godin taking advantage of the slow-moving Christian Takash there, coming out of the final corner, moves himself up into, I believe, what is 9th position. Justin Brunner, though, now starting to break away from Rene Osterkamp. It would be very impressive if Osterkamp could even manage to just keep up with him, as we have a nice 4-way battle developing here. And Puheka not too far off, up ahead. Oh, no, and there's been contact between a couple of cars. That's definitely one of the Conducci Racing cars. I'm not sure which one it was. And another car off the track. It's Stefan Bendow. Oh, man, it's been a terrible day for the Bendow brothers. And that is very unfortunate there. And it does look like that was Robert Plumley that was involved in that incident. No, I'm sorry.
Swamped by a couple of Team Tortoise cars here.
Yeah, the Tortoise guys running in very close proximity, which we have seen in previous races as well. Those 2 guys seem to be very similarly paced. If I'm not mistaken, they had a pretty good race actually in New Hampshire, which was the final race of season number 3. Plumley now coming under attack from the second Team Tortoise car, and he's already alongside, and we've still got plenty of that long straight left, so I imagine that's going to be a pretty easy move for him.
Yes, going back to Richard Clark, he seems really, really promising as a driver. He's being taught at the moment by a former driver of the league, Govan Keeney, as we see them go side by side and comfortably through from the Gemini red car of Ty McLeod. And he'll be all over the back of that Team Tortoise car as well. Just going back to my point, I'll go back to you then.
Yeah, a very close battle going on here. As you mentioned, McLeod in a little bit of a sandwich right here. Oh, and it looks like Plumley actually dipped a wheel off the circuit at the entrance for turn number 1, and that's lost him quite a bit of time as we rejoin the leaders here. Kerry Knowlden following his teammate Phil Reed. We haven't seen a lot of action from the 2 of them. At some point, Phil Reed, though, did manage to get back ahead of Kerry Knowlden. I imagine Patrick White is not that far behind. We'll probably find out very shortly here as we are rapidly approaching the halfway point of this race. And no, Patrick White has dropped right off the back of these two. That's incredible. So the top two, the AOR blue cars, are having a heck of a race here today at Road Atlanta. They are currently in first and second position, and it looks like at least a 3 or 4 second gap into third position. Phil Reed now coming under attack from Kerry Knowlden. They're going to be going side by side through the final quarter. Kerry Knowlden takes the lead of this race as we start lap number 19, and that was a great move by Kerry Knowlden, who is showing once again why he is the former champion. Phil Reed, though, is showing some incredible pace today. Don't forget that Phil Reed did out-qualify his teammate for today's race, so Kerry Knowlden possibly just not getting along. And this is what I was talking about earlier in the race. Jean-Francois Gaudin started in 10th, dropped down to like 19th or something, and then got back up into the top 10. So it's been an incredible recovery drive for Gaudin as we see him getting by Alexander Van Rompuy on lap number 2. I imagine we'll see him getting by Steve Kagerer. Nope, he already did that. It looks like he's going for a move on Martinsen now. One of the Bendau brothers as well. He's got Justin Brunner just ahead of him. So it's been a very exciting race for Jean-Francois Gaudin in the number 99 car as he's made his way back through the field. This was his overtake on Robert Plumley on lap number 8 as he gets a great run coming out of the final corner, grabs the inside line for turn number 1 and makes easy work of Robert Plumley there. And this was his move on Osterkamp right at the end of the lap that we were talking about. And he is sticking with Justin Brunner, which is exactly what I said he needed to do. Is he needs to just kind of follow in that wake of that back-to-back champion, and he's done exactly that. And here is Takash actually getting by Osterkamp, I believe, as Osterkamp ran a little bit wide out of turn number 5. But we rejoin as we're approaching the halfway point of this race. At the end of this lap, it'll be the halfway point of the race. The AOR blue cars still battling it out. Phil Reed with the outside line for the chicane just breezes by Kerry Knowlden and retakes the lead of the race pretty effortlessly.
Yes, what the drivers will be thinking about now is their pit stops. We've just hit the halfway point of the race, and it will be just a case of how many places can you gain or lose in the pit stop. As we can see, Patrick White's going to try and come in for the undercut. This will be a really interesting decision here. He'll try and make a bit of new time on new tyres, and in comes Justin Brunner as well. Is it? Yes, it is Justin Brunner. This will be really interesting. He needs to get as much time as he can. He normally runs light fuel in the opening stages, so this will really just be down to a battle of how quick are the AOR blue cars. Yep,
and I think we already know the answer is pretty darn quick. As these two have really started to break away. And as we saw with that move by Phil Reed, they might be overtaking each other, but they're really not battling side by side per se. I mean, Phil Reed, when he overtook Kerry Knowlden, I mean, he just breezed right on by. They may even be slipstreaming. Of course, we don't have that sort of insider information, so we don't know for sure. But they may just be using each other's slipstream and just trading positions in order to try and get the best team result. They can always battle each other for position later on in the race, in the closing stages, in the final laps of this race. They can always battle at that point and decide who the winner is going to be. But for right now, they really need to be worried about this man right here, Justin Brunner, who came in at the end of lap number 22 for a relatively early pit stop, one of the earlier pit stops we've seen as he followed behind Patrick White, it was, that also came into the pits at the end of lap 22. Puheka, it looks like, is going to be coming into the pits right behind Jamie Fluke as well. So it looks like everybody's kind of making their move here now. Jean-Francois Gaudin as well coming into the pits. He's followed very closely by Christian Takash. So it definitely looks like the pit lane is becoming busier and busier.
So this is what happened with Vittorio Saltalamacchia, lap 9. And he loses it, and he's into the brand new wall of champions here in America.
Oh, turn 5. It gets them every time. It's that big runoff area. You know, people want to carry as much speed as they can. It's a pretty long run. Oh, as
they're going to be side by side out the exit.
Side by side through the pit exit. Oh, and Puheka's hit the wall. He's gone up the circuit. He's in the grass, and he's hit the wall again. And that might be the end of Jonas Puheka's race. You can see the frustration in the lack of movement from the car. Oh, man, I think it's good we don't have a team radio situation here. Otherwise, we might be hearing a lot of Alonso-type communications happening right now. So that is very unfortunate for Jonas Puheka, who started all the way down in 11th position, worked his way up to the top 10, and was in that battle. And here we have Phil Reed, first of the AOR blue cars, heading into the pits as Kerry Knowlden continues on for another lap.
Kerry Knowlden now will have to put together the lap of his life here if he's going to get out back ahead of Phil Reed. He needs to have an absolutely perfect section here through turns 2 and now into turn 3. We'll cut away to a replay here, what happened with Plumley and Stefan Bendow. Oh, so Robert Plumley runs wide, and I assume he's just going to come back on, and Bendow unsighted. Oh, they just touch.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Yep, and I would have to... Here we go. I was just about to say, I'd have to see an onboard to really call that one. Yeah, I mean, Plumley gave him space, but yeah, Bendow hit the inside curb, which pushed him a little bit wide. I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing any sort of penalties from that one. Here's the spin with Ty McLeod as he was running very close to the Team Tortoise car there, and just...
It's turn 5 again there, Justin.
Yep, lost the back end in turn number 5. Did well, though, to avoid the barriers there, so no damage for him. And here is Kerry Knowlden coming to the end of lap 25. That looks like a line you would take if you're coming into the pits, and it sure is, as Kerry Knowlden becomes I believe, the final of the top drivers. I don't think he's actually going to lose position to anyone other than Phil Reed, potentially, when he comes out of the pits here. I don't think anybody in the sort of top running cars is still out. I might be wrong about that. As we're having a little bit of a look at Martinsen, who hasn't been having the best of races. Certainly he hasn't been having as bad a race as Leon Robinson or Saltalamacchia and some of the other DNFs, but Martinsen's been a little bit anonymous in this race as he's being followed by Robert Plumley. We switch back over to Kerry Knowlden in the pit box right now. Pretty far back normally for him. Usually his pit box is quite a bit further forward, and he's coming out of the pits now. Where is his teammate Phil Reed? There he is, coming through turn number 1 now. He's going to have the extra speed coming out of the corner. Kerry Knowlden's going to have the track position, though. Is he going to be able to do anything? No, Phil Reed has to settle for second best, but crucially, he is in the slipstream of his teammate, so he's still in this race.
Oh yes, definitely. It's going to be a two-way battle here as we're looking at an AOR red car of Knut Martinsen, and he's on the back of a Kinducci of...
Plumley.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Whoa! There! Wow! I've never seen a car go that high, which didn't look like there was any contact between them.
I think he got hit by a blue shell. Is that the right game? I don't know. I might be confused. But here's the replay that happened between Puheka and Jamie Fluke. You can see Fluke gave him plenty of space. Fluke was pretty much riding the barrier on the inside, as we're going to see it from onboard here. He was very far to the right. He gave Puheka as much space as he possibly could. But unfortunately, just the exit is just too narrow. There wasn't much else he could do. It looks like Fluke actually was late getting off the pit limiter, if I'm not mistaken from that replay. It looked like Jamie Fluke was just a little bit too late getting off the pit limiter, and that could have been avoided if he was a little bit quicker on that. But thankfully, for Jamie Fluke's sake at least, he comes out of that one unscathed. Unfortunately, though, for Puheka, he did not. And that was actually Evan Imre, I believe, getting by his teammate Frederick Johansson. And we're on lap number 30 now. Bruno Dometer, I mean, it's amazing that he is currently in 8th position because, I mean, he was 3rd to last on the grid. So a very impressive drive, actually, from Bruno Dometer. I was talking earlier about the recovery drive from Jean-Francois Godin. Dometer has done an even better job, as Patrick White now actually just makes easy work of Bruno Dometer through the S section.
Patrick White's a mile down. He was 3rd, and now he's back in 8th. I believe the only reason he'd possibly be that far back is that he was speeding in the pit lane, Justin.
Okay. Yep. Good information to have. Thank you so much for that. But he's at least regained one of those positions as he moves ahead of Bruno Dometer. It makes it look pretty easy as well. Dometer now, of course, is going to get the slipstream off of Patrick White, heading down the very long back straight here. There is Jamie Fluke, who is incredibly in 3rd position. Jamie Fluke continues to impress me. And actually not that far behind him is Justin Brunner. So we may actually see a revisit to the battle of last season, which was between Justin Brunner and Jamie Fluke. We've got 13 laps still remaining in this race, 14 laps really, still remaining in this race. So Justin Brunner still has plenty of time to try and catch back up to Jamie Fluke. But of course, in qualifying, he was a 10th slower. So it will be very impressive to see what Brunner can do. This battle between Plumley and Martinsen continues to rage on. Martinsen braking very, very late for that chicane and manages to stay ahead or get ahead of Robert Plumley. They've got the two Team Tortoise cars, though, right behind them as well. So they're not out of that battle just yet. yet. Martinsen is going to have to defend from Plumley here at turn number 1. Is he going to defend the inside line? He's not. Robert Plumley gets the inside line at turn number 1. They're going to go side by side. We've seen this end in tears before, but Robert Plumley makes it look so easy and just scoots on by Martinsen there. Very nice move from Robert Plumley.
Allow me to make a point here. The difference between Season 3 and Season 4 is that iRacing has decided to add dynamic tracks, which means that the track starts to get rubbered in more and more as you're driving along the circuit. And as you can see, the car's rubbered in so much that marbles are actually starting to be produced on the outside of the track. Therefore, you just saw Martinsen there on the outside, couldn't do anything. He was stuck on the marbles with no grip. And Robert Plumley made that look as easy as it could possibly be. We're looking now at Jamie Fluke here. As we go into turn 1, that's engine!
Oh,
engine.
No!
Boom,
he's giving up the ghost! That is heartbreaking. That is gut-wrenching for Jamie Fluke, who looks like he was just a little too aggressive on the downshifts heading into turn number 1, and that is going to be his race over. There is no fixing that in the pit lane, and that is going to promote Jean-Francois Godin up to 4th position, at one point in 19th. And Godin now into 4th, just outside the podium positions. Of course, that's also going to promote Justin Brunner back into a podium position, which is, if you're an AOR Blue driver right now, you got to be pretty upset about. And here is Patrick White still on a charge. It looks like he's going to go side by side with Rene Osterkamp heading into turn number 6. He's got the outside line. Got to be careful with those marbles. As Jake was mentioning earlier, there has been an update to iRacing, which we hadn't really touched on before. I'm really glad you brought up that point, because yes, there is dynamic weather, dynamic track conditions within iRacing now, which means you got to be a lot more selective about the lines that you're taking, especially at this stage of the race. Osterkamp coming back at Patrick White as they're heading into the chicane towards the end of the lap, at the end of the very long straight. Is Osterkamp just going to breeze right by him? No, he's not. Patrick White with some possibly late braking could make it side by side. They are side by side into the chicane. A great aerial view here, but Patrick White loses out. He's had a pretty terrible exit as well. Oh, slow down penalty. Yep, yeah, he probably got a corner cut there. And is that Dometer? I think that is
Dometer. What a race he's been having, slicing through the field. He started 28th on the grid, and this is a battle for about 7th.
They're going side by side through turn 1. I think Dometer was a little bit in the marbles there, but Patrick White still wasn't able. Oh, he's trying to fight back with him. It's such close battling here in this battle between Dometer and White. And oh my gosh, this is incredible stuff. Here we're going to see it from onboard. So we saw the aerial view before, and Patrick White did indeed brake quite a bit later. Oh, and the back end just stepped out on him, and I assume that's what gave him the corner cut warning, and that allowed Bruno Dometer to come and attack him through turns 11 and 12, and he takes that position relatively easy. A great drive from Bruno Dometer, taking advantage of that situation as we move on board once again with Martinsen being followed very closely by Plumley. This is another battle that has been raging on for quite a number of laps. Evan Imre is also involved. It looks like his teammate Frederick Johansson, though, has dropped off that battle, so it is now a three-way battle. Plumley with the inside line, now Martinsen with the inside line. They're just about side by side.
Contact.
Yeah, very brief contact, and Imre now getting involved. He's got the inside line for the final corner. He's going to take both positions through just a handful of corners. A very opportunistic move by Evan Imre there to grab a couple of positions, and his teammate not far behind Plumley stays ahead of Martinsen as we start lap number 34.
Yeah, going back onto a point which I failed to make earlier about Richard Clark and being taught by Govan Keeney. Keeney, after being disqualified from this league at Brands Hatch, he's managed to put on some really, really good results in the official series of iRacing. And with
the Star Mazda?
Yeah, with Star Mazda. And with Richard Clark running the same setups as Govan Keeney at the moment, you just have to feel it's a matter of time before Richard Clark wins a race and could possibly be a future champion in this league.
Absolutely, yeah. And like I mentioned before, some of you guys watching this video may know Richard Clark better as Ricky C, the Flying Irishman, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, did have a win in the AOR Xbox F1 League. Beating the likes of TRL Limitless, X Matty G, and those types. So he is a very talented driver, clearly, no matter what type of car you give him. Robert Plumley now trying to make a move on Evan Imre. He's going to have the outside line. Oh, no! Is that Justin Brunner?
I think it is. I think it is. We have to wait for the graphic.
I think that is Justin Brunner into the barrier. He's lost his entire front wing. Incredible scenes. With just, I mean, we're 3/4 of the way through the race, and Justin Brunner, I think the last time we saw him make a mistake was Mossport,
last season, and I don't even know the last time before that, and he's going to drop right down the order. Oh my gosh.
The man who never makes a mistake has made 2 in 1 race. Would you believe it? He is so consistent. He's had 19 podiums in 22 starts in this league. He averages 2nd place, but today he'll have to settle for something outside of the top 10, possibly even the top 20.
Yeah, that is going to be a very, very long repair job, without a doubt. That is shocking.
To repair that, because he's just so far into the race, it's not even worth it.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult. I don't know if he is going to continue or not. We kind of cut away. He was trying to continue on, but then he had a spit at turn number 7 because of the incredible understeer that he was getting. Oh, no! And Patrick White has made contact. I believe that was with Osterkamp. Osterkamp touching the back end. And then he went off the circuit. Patrick White managed to continue on. I don't know if either of them has any sort of significant damage. Christian Takash looks like he's going to grab a position out of all of that mess there. He might grab another position. Yeah, Christian Takash moves up into 3rd position as a result of that. But, man, that was a close one.
6th, Justin.
6th position?
Yeah.
Did I not say 6th?
You said 3rd. So this is what Justin Brunner. Oh, he just got too far out on the curb. Car unsettled, and he's off in the wall and doing 180s.
Turn 5 strikes again.
Oh, he lost it on the way in, and then he just forced himself on the way out, and that just gave him the worst tank slapper possible, and not much you can do from there. Very lucky to keep it going, actually.
Yeah. It could have been worse for sure, but yeah, as you mentioned, that's incredibly surprising. And here's what happened between White and Osterkamp. Well, actually, there was not contact. I think Patrick White just lost the back end at turn 1. Osterkamp was caught off guard by it. He went wide and ran off the circuit. So I don't think there was any actual contact between them, which good news for both drivers, means that neither of them has any sort of damage. Evan Imre now with the inside line on Robert Plumley heading into turn number 1, and he makes the move stick. Martinsen now getting involved. Is he going to go side by side with Plumley? We cut away actually now to the leaders, the 2 AOR blue cars going side by side. Kerry Knowlden with the inside line at turn number 1. Can Phil Reed hanging around the outside? He just about can. They're still side by side heading into turns number 2 and 3. Kerry Knowlden's going to have the inside line for turn number 3. Phil Reed sticks it around the outside, gets the inside line for turn number 4. Wow, fantastic racing. That is great side-by-side racing from the teammates.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely fantastic there. Phil Reed was having to deal with all the marbles on the outside of turn 1, and he made that look as if the dynamic track was not going on at all. So we head now into turn 6 and 7. We just got 6 laps to go. Phil round the outside Reed, as we will now call him.
Yeah, that was an incredible move. I mean, very, very difficult to go around the outside of turn number 1 and turn number 3 and make that stick was pretty incredible. Kerry Knowlden, though, is fighting back. He's got the slipstream off of his teammate as they're heading down in towards the chicane. Is he going to be able to get close enough? It looks like Phil Reed was thinking about defending the inside line. Kerry Knowlden braking much later than his teammate. Gives him room at the inside. Of course, the last thing they want is for these two guys to make contact with each other. And it looks like Phil Reed is going to defend that position pretty well right at the end of this lap. And Kerry Knowlden possibly, though, going to make an attack at turn number 1. He's got the slipstream once again as they're going down the start-finish straight. Phil Reed, though, looks like he's got the advantage as they head into the corner. It wouldn't surprise me if Kerry Knowlden was a bit hesitant to go side-by-side again through turns 1, 2, 3, and 4 with his teammate. I mean, I think they were pretty lucky at the start to not make any sort of contact. And is this McLeod?
Yes, it is Ty McLeod. He had a Menardin on his inside, and he just clips the wall there, and round we go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It looked like he was going to get away with that one, and then just the slightest touch. And here's what that replay looked like.
Lap 39 with Justin Brunner, so this is completely different. You can just see how much time he's losing on the straight. That's 4, 2, 3 cars. Yep, all 4 in the space of 1 straight. So he's just hanging on for whatever points he can get. Just remember, there are 2 drop weeks, and he might choose to use this one as one of them.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to, honestly, as we're on board, can you believe it, for the battle for 4th between Dometer and Patrick White, which is absolutely incredible. Just 3 laps remaining after they finish off this one, and they're going to be going side-by-side into turns 10A, 10B. Dometer runs a little deep through the first left-hander there. Oh, Patrick White loses the back end on the exit. Can he keep it out of the barrier? Just about. slight tap of the barrier there. I don't know if that's going to be any sort of significant damage. He does continue on for another lap, though. So Bruno Dometer gets a little bit lucky there, and he should be pretty comfortably in that 4th position now. He just needs to keep it on the road.
Yeah, Bruno Dometer will get my drive of the day. He's had an absolutely sensational race. After his instant at lap 6, he has fought through the field from 28th up into 4th, up 24 places here. As we look at the battle here for the top 10 with the two Team Tortoise cars, Knut Martinsen and Robert Plumley, the sole remaining Kinducci racing car. They'll be side by side into turn 1, and they're going to be 4 wide. The AOR cars are there by 2s, by 3s. As we go into turn 1, can he get it sorted? No, he can't get it there. But they'll have a look here into 2-3 as they single file up towards turn 5.
Wow. Not much left in this race. Obviously, the driver's getting a little bit desperate as the lap counters tick on. And there's really not much to this race as the leaders now crossing the start-finish line to begin lap number 42. Here we have a replay of the battle on lap number 41 between Phil Reed, the lead AOR blue car at this stage in the replay. Kerry Knowlden switching to the right-hand side. Phil Reed defending the inside line as they come into the chicane. And it looks like Phil Reed possibly might have some sort of slowdown. No, he just took that corner really, really well there. As we're going to see it from on board with Phil Reed looking backwards at his teammate Kerry Knowlden, getting closer and closer and closer. And this is, oh no, this is not the replay. This is lap number 42. It's once again, these guys are still battling. Coming to the end of the lap, going to be starting the penultimate lap. Kerry Knowlden getting very, very close through the final couple of corners as we start lap number 43. What can Kerry Knowlden do here at the end of this race? This is no longer about pulling away from the rest of the field. This is about which of these drivers is going to take the first win here in season number 4. Who is going to start their season in the best possible manner by grabbing all 30 of the points that the winner gets. It looks pretty good for either one of them, honestly. You can't say that one of them has too much of an advantage over the other one. Every time Kerry Knowlden has put in an overtake and taken the lead of the race, Phil Reed, not too long after, has come right back at him and shown that he is definitely not going to be playing second fiddle here in season number 4.
I believe Justin Brunner just got lapped. That's just how bad the damage was on him.
Wow. And that's not a sentence you're going to hear very often in the AOR Pro Mazda series. Justin Brunner has
like
just
Red
been
Devolution.
lapped.
That's to catch.
Oh my gosh.
With Patrick White, I believe. And I think that's the end of To Catch's race. He's crabbing along. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, he's got some serious suspension damage to the rear right-hand side, I believe. AOR Blue Car is still battling it out at the end of the penultimate lap here. Phil Reed ahead of Kerry Knowlden, once again defending the inside line as they head into the chicane. Kerry Knowlden's going to have to try a switchback and get a much better exit. It's a very short rundown, though. Oh, gosh, and there's a car ahead of them. I don't know if that was Robinson or Kagerer, but one of the cars, one of the Menardins off into the barrier there. As we start the final lap of this race, Phil Reed.
Have a look around the outside here.
Reed, I was going to say Phil Lead because he does lead the race as it stands right now ahead of Kerry Knowlden. Kerry Knowlden, though, coming back at him at the exit of turn number 1. Are they going to go side by side? They're not. Phil Reed holds on to that first place position for now.
Yeah, it looks like he's just got a bit of a gap, 2-3 tenths. It could be enough, though, as they come to the back straight into turn 5 for the final time here today at Road Atlanta. As you can see, he's just got enough at the moment. It could be the chance they have to win the race here for AOR. Phil Reed, at the moment, they just got to make sure they don't take each other out.
Yep, and I mean, this is what it all came down to last time when we raced here in season number 3. It came down to who is going to be ahead coming out of the chicane at the end of the straight. You can see Kerry Knowlden very close to the gearbox of his teammate. Phil Reed is doing his best. He's in the middle of the circuit. Kerry Knowlden opts for the inside line as they're heading into the chicane. It looks like he's got a very nice run on him. He might be able to even pull ahead. No, they're still side by side as they come down the hill into the braking zone for the chicane.
He did this
Kerry
last
Knowlden
year.
very briefly takes the lead of the race as we're coming through the final few corners. Phil Reed running very close behind him. Is it going to be enough, though? It looks very good for Kerry Knowlden to take the first win of season 4, and Kerry Knowlden has done it. He crosses the line, takes the win after starting from 6th position on the grid. Phil Reed started from 4th, finishes in 2nd position, and it's an AOR Blue 1-2 as they get their season started in the best possible way. And Jean-Francois Godin comes home in 3rd position, getting a podium in his first race of the season. I'm sure he's going to be very happy about that. Speaking of happy, Bruno Dometer, as you said, up 24 positions in this race. That's a hell of a drive.
Yeah, this is the battle here for 7th place at the moment. It's still not decided because we've got Martinsen and Plumley here side by side as they come into 10A, 10B. This will be the final opportunity. They'll have to make an overtake, and Martinsen has covered that off absolutely beautifully. So it'll be a Team Tortoise car of, I believe, Evan Imre in 7th with Martinsen 8th, Plumley 9th, and it'll be Frederick Johansson who will round out your top 10.
Wow, 2 Team Tortoise cars in the top 10. That is, and look at that, Evan Imre up 16 positions from his starting position. Yeah, he didn't start that far ahead of Bruno, but there is your race winner. Season 1 champion Kerry Knowlden takes the inaugural race win of season number 4 with a fantastic display, though, from Phil Reed.
This is the battle for 5th on the final lap here, Justin. So this is what happened between Patrick White and Rene Osterkamp. Here they go into turn 1. Is that no? It's turn 6 into turn 7, and side by side. Oh, they almost touch, but it will be just a battle down the back straight for them as we cut later on into the lap. White is side by side into 10A. Osterkamp holding it around the outside, but that's a beautiful switch back there from Patrick White, who will take 6th place away, who will take 5th place away even from Rene Osterkamp.
Yep, great move. I believe that's the exact move that Justin Brunner used last season to take the win of the race. Was that switchback and then the inside line through the final corner. In the end, Patrick White actually grabs the fastest lap of the race with a 1:17.9, the only driver to get into the 1:17s. But Kerry Knowlden wins by just about a 10.5 over his teammate Phil Reed. As we mentioned, an AOR Blue 1-2. Godin grabbing that final podium position ahead of Bruno Dometer. Rene Osterkamp finishing in 6th position. And there are the 2 Team Tortoise cars in the top 10. Robert Plumley doing a great job to finish in the top 10, just behind Martinsen. That was a beautiful battle for 7th, actually, that we saw between those guys. Fantastic racing. And Robert Plumley, I'm sure, is going to be very happy, especially after what happened with his teammate Vittorio Sotalamacchia. I'm sure he's going to be happy with that 9th place position. In the end, they were over a minute behind the top drivers, though. There we can see Justin Brunner in 11th position, so still grabs 10 points. So it could have been a lot worse for him, absolutely. Mark Hoppen finishes in 12th. He's followed by Steve Kagerer. Christian Takash way down in 14th, which is unfortunate because he was in the top 10 for such a long time. Stefan Bendow in 15th position. Chris Robinson in 16th. Dak O'Neill, pretty anonymous race for him. We didn't see too much of him. He finishes ahead of Ty McLeod, however, though. Jamie Fluke, though, the first of the DNFs. Very unfortunate after starting from pole position. Really looking forward to seeing what he can do further on in the season. Eunice Puheka also DNFing. Richard Clark as well, so a number of top drivers. Christoph Leister as well. LM Rennsport proving that they, with Michael Mittner, who was absent today, they were contenders towards the end of last season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those guys getting back into form. Go ahead and talk us through the championship standings, Jake.
Well, it's just as you saw in the race, Kerry Knowlden with a fantastic race win here at Road Atlanta, tops the championship by 5 points. As you can see there, Justin Brunner, a very uncharacteristic name further down on the second page, alongside Jamie Fluke there, who's got 1 point. Expect the likes of him, Junius Puheka, Richard Clark to score some valuable points later on in the season.
Yep, and as we mentioned, AOR Blue takes the early lead in the championship after scoring a near maximum of 55 points for first and second. Team Tortoise, though, in second place in the team's championship with 25 points. An incredible showing from both of their drivers. They should be very happy with that. Team Players in 3rd position, even though they only have 1 driver. So Carbon Racing as well, another 1-driver team. TDT Racing as well with Bruno Dometer. So 3 of the top 5 teams are all single-driver teams. Martinsen as well. I thought Lukens was going to be racing with him again this season.
No, I believe Lukens is in this season.
Okay, yeah, he just wasn't being shown on the results page there, but I'm sure we'll see Neil Lukens, one-time commentator from Donington, as you guys might remember. I'm sure we'll see him getting some points on the board later on this season. And you can see we have a lot of teams this season, 23 teams for just 30 drivers. So we've got a lot of one-man teams. Hopefully that'll all change in the near future. But that's going to do it for today's race at Road Atlanta. Coming up next, it's going to be Sebring. Thank you so much for joining me, Jake.
No worries. Thank you.
Oh, it was an absolute pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of this season. Sebring should be interesting. It's got some very long straights, some mixture of high-speed and low-speed corners, a number of overtaking locations. It's very bumpy as well, so I fully expect we'll see a number of mistakes and spins and that sort of thing. So make sure you guys tune in next time. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you at Sebring.